أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم لا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين ولا أقل من ذلك. My beloved mothers and fathers, dearest brothers and sisters in Islam, honored ulama, I greet you all with the universal greeting of love, peace and mercy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the bounties He has bestowed upon us. Peace, salutations and blessings upon our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his illustrious companions and all those who follow him until the day of Qiyamah. Jama'atul Muslimin, the time and life of a Muslim is not meant for merely play and amusement, but the sole purpose of life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And time in itself, it is value. And it has more value than all the gold and silver in the world or money. Jama'atul Muslimin is for that reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He takes a possum by time. In Surah Al-Aakhir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالْعَصْرِ, by the token of time, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ, indeed, mankind is in a total loss, in a state of loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those who believe in Allah. And وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who do righteous deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and they practice truthfulness and they advise others to truthfulness. And وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and they persevere and advise others to persevere. Jama'atul Muslimin, time, there are two basic elements of time that each of us should acknowledge. The first is that time, it passes very quickly. Many of us that are seated here, we are probably 50 or 60 or 70 years old. If we reminisce and look back at our time, sometimes we neglect or we regret the time that we have wasted. Because if you look at other people, the achievements, Where are they and where am I? You tell yourself, if only I manage my time more effectively, I would not have been where I am today. Or I would have been a better person where I find myself in today. The other attribute or quality of time is that whatever time we have wasted in the past, we will never retract that time. We will never reverse that time. If we have been neglectful in our time management, we will never ever retract that time. It is wasted and it will never come back to us. Jamaat al-Muslimin, I want to give an example, a very beautiful example. We know Shaykh, a Dr. Yusuf Qaradawi, one of the great revivers in our time who has passed on about a month ago. Rahimahullah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him mercy in his qabr and high place in Jannah, and stand up among the ulama and anbiya and salihin. Ameen. This great Shaykh, he wrote more than 100 books, Jamaat al-Muslimin, on contemporary Islam in our time. Very important to note, he lived to 96 years old. 96 years old when he passed on. Rahmatullah alayhi. Very significant of the books he wrote, Jamaat al-Muslimin. Some of these books are volumes. And if you look at one book, consists between 300 to 500 pages of the amount of books that he wrote. More than 100 books he wrote, but we were limited to only 100. In fact, there are sources that say authentic thoughts that he wrote more than 120 books. Jamaat al-Muslimin, and we calculate the amount of pages in each of those books. It amounts up to more than 25,000 and more. Then we come to a conclusion that Shaykh al-Qaradawi, he must have written, right? If we take that amount and we divide it amongst the number of years that he spent in this world, 96 years, then it comes to approximately 75 pages a day that he wrote since the time his mother gave birth to him until the time he died. Allahu Akbar. May Allah help us understand. Jamaat al-Muslimin, this alim, allama, he spent his whole life in the service of Islam. Allahu Akbar. There are much more, Jamaat al-Muslimin. If you look at Imam al-Nawawi, rahimahullah ta'ala, the mujaddid of his time and a reviver of the madhab of Imam Shafi'i. He lived only till 45 years old. The amount of books that he wrote, Jamaat al-Muslimin, it is, if you take every page of each book that he wrote and the volumes that he wrote, Jamaat al-Muslimin, and the amount of time that he lived in this world, this dunya, for a span of 45 years, he must have written more than, not plus minus, more than 50 pages a day since the time I was born until the time I died. We can say this of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, many other scholars, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah, and many Jamaat al-Muslimin. We should ask the question, what have I done for Islam? What legacy have I, after my demise, what I leave behind for the Ummah of Islam? The least we can do, Jamaat al-Muslimin, is leave behind pious children that can do for us, as a hadith says. That will be a continuous reward for us, sadaqah al-jariyah in our graves. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Jamaat al-Muslimin, as reported in Sahih al-Bukhari, نعمتان مغبور فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ. There are two favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon mankind. كثير من الناس, many people, Allah has bestowed these two blessings, favors of Allah. But they are negligent with these two favors. They do not know, or they do not want to know the value of these two favors. And what are these? الصحة والفراغ. The time that you are healthy, you can do so much things for yourself. You can benefit other people. The best of people are those who benefit others, who is an asset to humanity, Jamaat Muslimin. And the second one is wal-faragh, the leisure time we find ourselves in. The leisure time. Therefore, Jamaat Muslimin, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah, he has mentioned very beautiful words. Rahimahullah ta'ala. This is the student of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. He says, the years are like trees. A year is like a tree. The months are like its branches. And the days, its twigs. And the hours are its leaves. And the breeze that we take in, inhaling and exhaling, what is that? That's its fruit. So, we further say, Jamaat al-Muslimin, if one breathes, meaning he inhales and exhales, and is in the obedience of Allah and His Messenger, the fruits of this tree are good. And if they are in the disobedience of Allah and Allah's Rasul, then the fruits are bitter. The harvest is on the day of judgment, upon the day of judgment, where you will see a benefit. When one's fruits are found out to be either good or bitter, will only be in the day of judgment. Therefore, it is important for us to hasten forth, to do acts of worship that will benefit us. The more we do, how many of our brethren who have passed on, they wish and desire to come back to this dunya just for a moment, to say Subhanallah, to say Alhamdulillah, to make one sujood for Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala. But time has come for Christ to me. The time has come. Jamaat al-Muslimin, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس شبابك قبل هرمك وصحتك قبل سقمك وغناك قبل فقرك وفراغك قبل شغلك وحياتك قبل موتك. أخرجه الحاكم في المستدرك وصححه الألباني في صحيح الجامع. Jamaat al-Muslimin, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave advice to person at one stage. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, اغتنم خمس قبل خمسين. Make good use of 5 things before other 5 things comes upon you. Take advantage of these 5 things. These ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you. Make good use thereof until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes it away from you. What is it, Jamaat? What are these ni'mah? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, firstly, shababaka qabla haramik. We find so many shabab, youth in the masjid, Jamaat Muslimin. They are energetic, they can do what an elderly person cannot do. We need them. They are the pillars of this community. We need them to come close to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, make good use of your youthful days, the day you are energetic. You can do things for yourself before you become an old man. You walk, bend over. You can't do things for yourself. You sit on a chair and perform salah. Or you sit and perform salah. You can't properly walk to the masjid. You can't engage in long hours of tahajjud salah. You are too ill to do certain things. You are not by the means due to your poor health. So, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam urged our youth to do good, to use the energies for the upliftment to the deen of Islam, study further, be a benefit and asset to the ummah of Islam and humanity at large. The second one, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَصِحَّتَكَ قَبَلَ سَقَمِكَ وَصِحَّتَكَ قَبَلَ سَقَمِكَ. And your health, take pride in your health. Do good things. Do. At the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, that the health that Allah has given you, make good use of it. Don't do things that will be detrimental to your health. Smoking, or doing things that will cause you harm in your health. Therefore, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he urged us to swim. The young people inculcated swimming, archery. Right? These are the things the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam advised us to do. Jamaat Muslimin also, وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقَرِكَ. And also, the time that you have money, the time when you are wealthy, spend. Because there might come a time you don't have the money, or you only have enough for yourself, and you can't spend as much as you. The time that you have the money, spend your money. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will return so much more in your favor, Jamaat Muslimin. وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَتَجِدُوهُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. Whatever you spend in the way of Allah, you will find it of Allah. And it will be so much more. Jamaat Muslimin, and the last one, and this we need to ponder, and this actually encompasses all that we have mentioned, all the points, the 4 points before this that we have mentioned. وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبَلَ مَوْتِكَ. Make good use of our life before death comes to us. And know well, Jamaat Muslimin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, in Surah Jumuah, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. Allah. Listen again, Jamaat Muslimin. Allah says, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say unto them, to mankind, this life that you are running away from, you are so engrossed and preoccupied with this dunya, فَإِنَّهُ that death will come unto you, will overtake you, even though you are preoccupied with this dunya. You will never escape death, Jamaat Muslimin. Never will you escape death. You can go to the best surgeon, the best professor, but if your death has been decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will die. Jamaat Muslimin, it's important that we acknowledge that life in this dunya depends, and our success in the sight of Allah depends on how we utilize our time. It's important to do strategic planning, how we plan our life. Not to live a haphazard life, with a life without purpose, but we should strategically plan our life. Like we have a year plan at work. Everything, this we will do on that time of the year, that we will do that time of the year. Our life, Jamaat Muslimin, when we will meet Allah, that is more important than any other year plan. We should plan our time around Allah, the obedience of Allah. And Allah will make us successful in this life and the year after, Jamaat Muslimin. We should not forget that, very importantly, the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his beloved companions, they would joke, recite poetry, enjoy themselves, enjoy the company of each other. But they will also march forward with their wealth and love in the path of Allah. We shouldn't be like hermits, spend all day in the masjid. The rizq doesn't lie in the masjid, it lies outside. We have to go seek our rizq. But at the same time, we should balance our life. We should balance our life, Jamaat Muslimin, within the parameters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, we should know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite mercy, has given us this health. And for each heartbeat, just bear in mind, each heartbeat tells us, turn to Allah, turn to Allah, turn to Allah. What have you put forth for tomorrow when you will leave this dunya and meet your Creator? Jamaat Muslimin, that is important for us to acknowledge. That's very important for us to acknowledge, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us, to grant that these few words find place in our hearts, Jamaat Muslimin. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of muttaqeen and muhsinin and sabirin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq, and may we live whatever we thought we speak on and of the Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we implement in our lives in a best manner. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.